All right, again, I'm Sontia, a certified housing counselor and a realtor. So, a little bit about myself. Santia brings a wealth of knowledge, and y'all gotta bear with me because it's dark, and my slide is in purple. Santia brings a wealth of knowledge on local communities, current market conditions, and the home buying and selling process. She's also a certified housing counselor and has assisted clients in navigating HPAC, EHAP, and NEHAP funding in Washington, D.C. I strive to provide exceptional service every step of the way so I can provide you with real estate experience that exceeds your expectations. I like to let people know what clients say about me because you can say a whole lot about yourself. You can paint this picture about yourself, but what you pour out to people is what matters. So I have one client, and this was like my first client, guys. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. You know, we're our biggest critics. Mm-hmm. And my first client was Caucasian with an 800 credit score. Mm-hmm. And you know, it was kind of intimidating because you know the stigma around being a Black woman. Mm-hmm. And this woman was just simply amazing. And so she left a review, and this is what she said. Sontia was amazing from start to finish. It was so good to have someone so knowledgeable about the areas as well as the process. I had so many questions, and she never made me feel like I was asking too many. She was very responsive and was constantly advocating for me. She always had my interests in mind and was great in the negotiation process. I don't know why it's cut off, but her name was Vanessa Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And a year later, ironically, I was on vacation. I was in Vegas and I got a call from her and she's like, Santia, I'm getting married. I need to sell my house. And so we sold her house a year later. So, you know, if I wasn't a great realtor to her, she could have reached out to anyone to sell her house. And so that's what I strive to do, to make sure that I'm being informative, making sure that your questions get answered. In this process, you're going to have so many questions, and no one in this process should be dismissive. If anybody is dismissive, or we might not have all the answers, but at least we can tell you, we'll get the answers for you and we'll get back to you. So when you have someone who's being dismissive of your questions, that's a red flag. You might want to, change courses. Okay. Mm-hmm. So my duties to clients as a realtor is loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience, reasonable care, diligence, and accounting. It is important to know that not every real estate agent is a realtor. We're held to a higher standard. So there are real estate agents, and then you have realtors. I'm a realtor. Okay. So we want to skip over this part. So why home ownership is part of the agenda. Road to buying a home. Are you ready to buy? Benefits of owning a home. Down payment. The home buying process. The do's and don'ts. That's my favorite part in this entire presentation, is the do's and don'ts. Mm-hmm. And then we want to have special guest speaker, my friend and my lender, Sandra. And are you actually ready to apply? So who is a first-time home buyer? According to her, the first-time home buyer is an individual who meets any of the following criteria. An individual who's had no home ownership in a principal residence during the 3-year period ending on the date of the purchase of the property. So every 3 years, you become a first-time home owner, okay? Every 3 years, which means you qualify again for the down payment assistance that's available. This includes a spouse. If either meets the above test, they are considered first-time homeowners. Mm-hmm. So I'm a first-time homeowner again because I'm about to buy me another house. I'm going to throw that out there. All right. So why home ownership? Buying a home is less costly than renting a home or an apartment. Being a renter is simply paying off someone else's mortgage with interest. Okay? That's facts. So, question: without being completely transparent, you don't have to give the exact dollar. How much do you pay for rent?
$17.65.
Jesus. How much do you pay for
rent? I pay $14.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys, my mortgage is $1,200. Okay, I have a 3-bedroom. 1.5 bath, 3-level townhome, and it's $1,200. Okay, and so every time I pay my mortgage, I'm paying this back into myself. Every time you pay someone's rent, you are paying that to them. You're giving them equity when you could be paying it into yourself. So with COVID, we all know, we had to fend for ourselves, right? And so all the equity I was putting into my home, if I wanted to, I didn't. That wasn't my testimony. But if I wanted to, I could have called my lender and said, hey, I need to take some of this money out because I've been paying my mortgage, right? But as a renter, where does that put you, right? When some of us had to quit. Some of us had to take leave. Our children were out of school. We were in a sticky situation and we didn't know what to do. But being a homeowner, it had a whole lot of benefits for me. I didn't have to pay my mortgage for 2 years. For 2 years. And that is the reason why I didn't have to even touch my equity. But if I had to, I had that cushion. Okay, so it's definitely a benefit in owning a home. And I know a lot of people get afraid because one thing that I hear people say is that, what if I lose my job? I had that same fear. My finances has increased since I've become a homeowner. It's like something in you, it's like an extra drive that just kicks in that makes you say, I want to make this work. I'm not going to fail in this, okay? And, living in DC, DC can spoil you. I'm a DC resident, born and raised, Ward 8, graduated from Ballou High School, and I was on Section 8. Well, not Section 8. They gave me the rapid rehousing. My name's still on the list for Section 8. It's been like 25 years, okay? But I say that to say my rent was maybe $14. And so because of that, DC is going to say, here, take this EROC, even though it's $14, we'll pay this too, we'll pay your utilities. And so that's what we're afraid of, not having Uncle Sam say, I got you. But the theory is that you should have yourself. Because Uncle Sam, whenever you get something from Uncle Sam, he wants it back, okay? And so you can't be afraid to take that leap because you're building generational wealth for your family. You're breaking generational curses, okay? And, you guys heard me listen to my worship music, God, family, real estate for me. He's first and foremost in everything that I do. And this is why I take leaps. I'll take a leap where I can't even see the road is clear. And I can definitely tell you guys that ever since I've been taking these leaps, I have not failed, okay? I have not. And I'll tell you guys a little bit more about, my home buying process when I bought my own home, because it's a real life story. And I've noticed that it motivates people. So let's move forward. So the buyer's roadmap. You're going to meet with a real estate professional. I always say that you should meet with a realtor first. I don't say to meet with a lender first. Do you agree? Or you disagree?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
But you got to get pre-approved first.
You do?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the realtor will walk you through all of that.
Yeah, and so the reason that I say that you should meet with your realtor first is because your realtors have lenders that they are partnered with, such as my friend. So if someone reach out to me, I'm going to refer them. So some people, what they'll do is they'll get on the internet because the internet tells us that everything on there is true. And so they'll look for a home loan and Lending Tree will come up and, it sets you up to be scammed. In a sense. And so that's why I say meet with your realtor, because your realtor is your unbiased voice of reason, and they're going to walk you through the process, and they're going to make sure you're connected to the right professionals.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I had to make it make sense. Okay, and so you meet with your you're going to search for homes, then you're going to make an offer. You'll negotiate the contract, and then you'll be under contract and escrow, and then final details, and then your closing. We'll go more in depth about that. So the biggest question is, are you actually ready? Do you have stable income? Do you have low to medium debt? Do you have cash for a down payment? Do you have 2 months of pay statements and bank statements? Do you have 2 years of employment history with the same company or in the same industry? Now, one question that trips people up is that they'll say, well, I was on leave for 3 months. I don't have 2 years of work history. My question is, have you received taxes in the past 2 years? So if you can answer yes, then you have 2 years of work history, because that is what the lender wants. And I'm not going to talk too much about the lender process because my friend is here that's going to explain that to you guys. All right, so let's talk about your down payment. So your down payment can be anywhere from 3.5% to 20% up to purchase price. 20% is more so with conventional loans. And then closing costs 3 to 4% of the purchase price. However, there are programs that can help with that cost, as well as your realtor negotiating with the seller's agent to get you closing cost assistance. So paid outside of closing costs would be your home inspection, your appraisal, your insurance, your credit report, etc. And those fees are the home buyer's responsibilities. These fees are not all due up front. I know, you see numbers, you're like, oh God, how am I going to do this? Okay, when y'all hear my story, y'all gonna be like, I can do this. Emergency savings, home repairs and maintenance, job loss. You want to target at least 6 months of mortgage payments, right? And the reason I say that, again, COVID, and then there's so many other things. I don't even know about this new flu-like symptom thing that's going around, but every month there's something new. And so you never know when the country might just decide tomorrow we want to shut down again. And so you want to begin to start saving, and a lot of times we feel that we don't have no way to save. But if you think about it, if you're buying lunch, if you're a snacker like me, I need my snacks, $5 can add up, and so you can increase your income. It's the little things. I tell people all the time that anything that you provide that is of service, you charge a fee for it. Okay. If you're a person who has a lot of knowledge and people is always coming to you for information, that's a consulting fee. Okay. If I'm at a cookout and people always want to talk about real estate, my office hours are from 9 to 5. That's a consulting fee, right? Because they'll try to pick on your brain. If you do hair, it may seem like, I'm doing a service for someone. Let me just do my sister's hair for free. She wouldn't go to the hair gallery and say, can you just do my hair for free? You have to put a price on what you're worth, okay? You have Uber, any type of side jobs, anything that is a craft to you can increase your income, okay? So real estate is my craft. I have a full time, but this is my craft. So that is my way of increasing my income, okay? So I'm not going to go into down payment assistance programs. My good sister here is going to talk about the down payment assistance program.
But can I ask a quick question? Why doesn't Maryland have that many? Sorry.
Should we wait?
Should we wait? I'm sorry.
No, because I had that.
No, because I live in Virginia, but we're planning. Our overall plan is to buy in Maryland. So I'm just wondering why.
Question for you: what part of Maryland?
Like Clinton.
Okay, PG County.
Okay. Yeah. And there are other loans that are not listed on here. You have USDA loans; those are 100% loans. So there are other loans that she speaks about.
So she's going to
So I'm the realtor. That's why I got my lender friend here that could go more into that because so what my job is in this process is getting you guys prepared and being your voice of reason, right? And so once you get to getting your pre-approval, your lender is going to seek out any type of assistance that you qualify for. They're not going to just overlook, something that's available. And I do believe there's another grant that's $10,000 that they just it keeps going away and it keeps coming back like really fast. And I don't know the name of it, but I'm sure she do. And so there are funds out there. I could definitely tell you guys the most I've seen someone put down was maybe about $6,000. And that's because, again, you get closing cost assistance, the lender, they give points, and I'm gonna stop talking on that.
Right, okay,
Because
okay.
step on toes about all of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But we aim to make sure that you put down as less as possible and or walk away with money at the table. That's our goal. Okay. So let's talk about DHCD programs. Anybody looking to purchase in Maryland? I'm sorry, DC? Okay, all Maryland. Okay.
I know they got the best programs. But I ain't
Okay,
trying to go back
so-
to the district.
So we don't have to go over HCAP right now, because you guys are not looking to purchase in DC. You can look over that in your leisure time, so we'll skip over that for the sake of electricity. And when you get over 40, your eyes start to play with you, and I think I'm cute, so I don't wear my glasses. I have glasses, y'all. And I'll be paying for it in a few more years if I don't listen to my eye doctor. Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the home buying process. All right. So you have to help your professionals help you. All right. The buying process requires the help of a number of professionals. Your realtor can assist you in finding the right professionals that will help you make this process a little bit easier. Your realtor will be your trusted advisor and will assist you in finding the perfect home based on your specific criteria. The agent will negotiate and submit offers on your behalf and is obligated to provide you with loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience, reasonable care, diligence, and accounting in all aspects of the buying process. We spoke about getting pre-approved. Of course, you have to have a favorable credit score. We aim for you guys to be somewhere around 640 or higher, without anything in collections or charged off or public records. So finding your forever home, understanding what you're looking for is a top priority. So your realtor will perform a home search based off of specific criteria that you provide, which is your location, your pre-approval, of course. Your realtor will not just show you this nice $1 million home because it's a nice home, right? We're going to stick within your budget. So submitting an offer. Now that your agent has scheduled your home showings, you've shown interest in a particular home. Your next step is to negotiate and submit an offer to the seller. And you'll know when you step into that house, it's something that's going to come over you that's going to make you say, this is it. From the moment you step in there, I'm telling you, it's such a great feeling. You would definitely know. I have not seen anybody just walk in and just be like, all right, let me go upstairs. Okay, this might be it. No, it's like something hits me like, boom, oh, this is it. This is the one. And next thing you know, we're writing a contract. But you guys should know that as a realtor, okay, I'm not putting these nice shoes on no floors that look nasty. So I am very blunt. If I step in there, because sometimes in our system, it may be old pictures or, they're just trying to advertise their client's property. It's okay. But if I get there and something looks off, something looks wrong, something looks unsafe, I'm going to tell you guys, come on. We still looking.
Right.
Respectfully.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not that agent that's, okay, let me hurry up and get them under contract because I want their money.
Right.
No, I don't want your house to fall on you. And I want you to be able to say, once you get your keys, I can go sleep on this floor if I choose to. Okay, so that's my goal. Acceptance. Your agent will need the following documents to submit your offer. I'll need your earnest money deposit. Okay, your earnest money deposit is 1% of the sales price in the form of a certified check. You'll get instructions from me on how to get that from your bank. So let's say if you are approved for $350,000, your earnest money deposit is $3,500. This is still your money. It's like buying a car. So when you buy a car, they say you got to put down this amount. This is still going towards your home. Okay, this is just your good faith saying that I want this home and this is what I'm putting down. Okay.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Yes,
Is that for DCM or wherever? It doesn't
that's
matter?
wherever.
Okay,
Everyone
okay,
has to put down,
okay.
the earnest money
The ones-
deposit.
Okay.
You're more common here, EMD. That's what
Okay.
we say, EMD.
Okay. No, I'm just saying like that's the same amount everywhere. Just-
No,
Oh, no,
so if it's,
1%.
say you're approved for $250,000, it's 2,500.
Okay,
So it's 1%.
okay,
Basically-
1%.
Basically, I go according to what the client is approved for.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay, that's,
So
okay.
that you can already have it handy, because houses are selling fast. So we go in a house and you say, Sontia, I want this home.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to say, go get that earnest money deposit, because most of the time it's Saturday or Sunday when we're home shopping, and
Right.
you can't get your earnest money deposit. By the time you wake up in the morning, someone
Yeah,
else has
gone.
put a
Gone,
contract
okay,
in and it's
okay.
gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if your offer is accepted, you now have a ratified contract, meaning all parties have mutually agreed upon the terms set forth in the contract, and it is now legally binding. Okay, so you can't back out. If you back out, you will lose that earnest money deposit. If the seller back out for whatever reason, you keep your money.
Okay.
But if anything go wrong with the sale, if it's your fault, let's say anything that's in do's and don'ts that we're going to discuss
Mhm.
that you do, and you can't purchase the house, the seller gets to keep that earnest money deposit.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about the home inspection and appraisal. Time is of the essence according to the terms of the contract. So get prepared for this upfront cost. You'll have likely 10 days to schedule a home inspection and negotiate repairs. The actual cost is $350 and $150 for re-inspection. Once your inspection is complete, your lender will order your appraisal, and that average cost can waver somewhere around $500. Now, the cost of the inspection is based off the square footage of the home.
Okay.
And so, let's say you got your earnest money deposit. Now we found a home. We went under contract. In that contract, in the inspection addendum, we said that we would have the inspection done within 7 to 10 days, whichever one we chose. You have to have your money for your inspection.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to go into items included in closing costs, because that's scary, because you see all of these costs here. I'm actually going to remove that out of my slide, because it makes people feel like, wow, all of these things, I got to pay all of this. And you really don't see it that way.
Mhm.
Numbers will scare you, but it's not that you're paying all of these things, because it's a whole lot of deductions. So we're not going to go over that part. But I do want to know that as your agent, I'll make sure that I get closing cost assistance for you.
Okay.
Now, let's go into the do's and don'ts, my favorite. All right, so in this process, please don't open any new accounts. So what is the reason that you can't open any new accounts? You've got your pre-approval, and you're under contract. What is the reason that you cannot open any new accounts?
I'm sorry, say it again. Uh-oh.
Cause the information I have is based on now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was asking, what is the reason that someone, a buyer, cannot open any new accounts? Once they're under contract, they already have their pre-approval.
Mhm.
Navy Federal said, okay, I'm gonna qualify you for this $20,000 credit card.
Mhm.
What is the reason that
No,
you
no
should say
doubt.
no?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Because if you accept it, you have changed your debt to income ratio.
Okay.
And therefore you may not qualify for this home loan anymore. And now the deal is dead, and guess what? Lose the earnest money deposit, and I don't want that to happen.
Okay. Okay.
Don't allow your credit to get pulled by anyone except for your lender.
Okay.
Don't borrow any money for your down payment, okay?
Mhm.
You cannot borrow it, because that goes back to your debt to income ratio,
Mhm.
all right? Don't make any unnecessary purchases. And so this is my story that I want to share with you guys. I was in my home buying process. My son had just went to the military, and I don't even know why I didn't just say, let me put you on the deed instead. But I just wanted him to go through the process with me. So I added him on to the home loan. And so we got the pre-approval, gave him basic instructions. Don't do anything. But of course, You know, the
Yeah.
military, they look out for theirs.
Mhm.
They offer him everything. It wasn't nothing that they didn't offer him. Credit cards. They gave him housing, which means he needed to furnish the house.
Mhm.
So he had a furniture loan, and we had 30 days to close. 30. And what he do? He accepted everything, and it was 8 p.m. the day before closing. My whole house was boxed up, like everything. And I got a call from the lender, and the lender said, Miss Beckham, you're not going to closing. And I said, what? What do you mean? Well, your son opened this credit card, this personal account, and this furniture account. And unless he has the money to put it back by tomorrow, the deal is dead.
Mm.
And so the deal was dead. And I said, I didn't realize that I was that high of a soprano because I screamed so loud. I could not believe it because I saved my own down payment.
Mhm.
I didn't have down payment assistance.
Mhm.
I was just ready to be a homeowner. My credit was less than perfect, 98% of us, until we actually need credit. That's when we know we need to fix our credit.
Mhm.
And that was my story. But I was serious about what I wanted. And so it took me, I had like 24 things on my report. It took me maybe 20 days to get them off. So yes, I'm a certified credit specialist. That's what I do.
Mhm.
And so I got my pre-approval, and in the midst of all of that, cleaning up my credit and making arrangements and paying off the debt that was on my report, I was also saving up for my home loan. And so I had all of my money to the side, and I was like, how is this happening? And so my agent at the time, she said, let me run you through my lender. You can get approved by yourself. You qualify. Your debt to income ratio didn't change. His did. Remove him. So I said, okay, but I was still a bit discouraged, right?
Right.
And so he ran my stuff that night, called me. It's like 12 a.m. He said, I got you approved. He said, but of course, we got to go through underwriting. So that's like the final process, right?
Mhm.
And so he said, I'll call the seller's agent. He called the seller's agent, but by the time I woke up in the morning, the house was back on the market, which means, guess what? I lost my earnest money deposit. I couldn't get that back. And so he had a relationship with the seller's agent, and he said, she's approved. I can get her through underwriting in 7 days. Can you please take it off the market? He said, okay. So everything worked out in my favor, and I just knew. And I'm gonna tell you guys, when I first walked in the house, as soon as I stepped in, there's a mirror right here, and I looked and I said, "This is my house." And I kept on saying, "This is my house." And my spouse at the time, sorry guys, happily divorced, but my spouse at the time was like, "You haven't even been through the whole house," and I was like, "This is my house." So I say that to say, when I went back and I checked the records, the house was put on the market on my birthday, and it sat for 2 months. How common is that? A house is sitting for 2 months that is completely gutted out, brand new floors, new windows, new appliances. That is not common. That is slim to none. So I knew that was the house that God had for me, because it still worked out in my favor, and no devil in hell could have stopped it. So I have the house. But as you see, those don'ts that are on here is what could have caused it, but God. And so please,
Okay.
I don't want anyone to have to go through that. I have not had any of my clients go through this, because I make sure I tell them my real life story of what happened. I'm not just telling you something to make it sound good or it look good on paper. No, this is what will happen. And the worst thing you want is for your money to be just given away. We don't have money to just give away. So always pay your bills on time, not a day late. That is one of the things that a lender looks at. They look at your payment history. So of course, a credit score consists of 5 entities, right? Payment history weighs the heaviest at 35%. Payment history. But if the balances, your balances weighs at 30%. So 65% out of 100%, those are the two heaviest. Okay, so you gotta keep all balances on account. If you have personal loans, if you have credit cards, keep those balances under 30%. So if I have a credit card and my maximum amount is 3,800, then the amount that I should keep it under is 1,500 in any given month. Now life happens, so what if I had to spend an extra 500? So now I'm at 2,000. Before that month comes in, I need to get it back down before it reports to the credit reporting agencies. Okay. Make sure you monitor your credit reports. Okay, because people can put stuff on your report that should not be there. Always ask questions. I don't have a charger. No question is a dumb question in real estate. Okay. Again, you're going to hear me keep saying that when people are dismissive of your questions, those are red flags. You do not want to work with them. If people are giving you attitude, I work for you as your realtor. I shouldn't be giving you attitude. If it's something I don't know, unfortunately, I don't have the answer right now. I'll get back to you. Now, some people do have the habit. This guy keeps calling me at 9:30, right? I've told him already my office hours are from 9 to 5, right? And so next time I'm gonna have a boyfriend pick up and tell me. So, yeah, because you have to be respectful of people's time with their family. We put in a lot of work, and so when it's family time, it's family time. However, one thing that happens is just like I wind down at a certain time, every other working professional wind down at a certain time. And so what happens is your brain starts thinking, all those questions come to your head. I don't want you to forget it. So you can send me an email, you can send me a text. That is not disrespectful. So I'll get back to you in the morning so your questions are still being answered. Okay? Now, closing day. You want to bring with you only the parties who have a financial interest, right? Who's going to be on the home loan, because you're going to sign a lot of documents. The settlement agent is going to go over a lot of documentation, a lot of information, and you need to be focused so that you know what you're signing. If you don't understand, have them to explain that to you, okay? So you're going to bring your ID with you. You're going to bring your earnest money deposit, and of course your big smile, because you done came over that hurdle. So the magic words that we want to hear is what?
Clear to close.
That's it. That's it. When you hear that clear to close, that means you have made it, that you are about to get your keys, you're about to move into your house. Okay? We're not going to go over the National Association of Realtors, their guidance for COVID. We all are COVID aware now. And I don't even think COVID is a thing anymore. I think they just playing. All right, so this section goes into the purchase process. I'll take questions from you guys, and then the next one you'll hear from is Sontia Foman.
When should you start like the home buying process? Like I'm trying to figure it all out. Like say if my lease is up at the end of May, right? Like, so when should I? And I want to make sure that I have a home by then. So we ain't trying to move in with somebody and then all that stuff is in storage and then we trying to.
Absolutely, I would say now.
Now, okay.
I would definitely say now, because so as you guys see, I told you guys that I got my pre-approval. It was, I know all the dates, y'all. It was June the 14th. I went under contract July the 2nd. The day I moved in my house was November the 4th. Okay. Because of course, remember you guys, I told y'all about that hurdle? Yeah. I had a couple hurdles, y'all. The devil was trying it. He was trying it, but I had a praying mother, sisters, friends, because I promise you, I left my job. I had to leave the Navy. So I left them, and then I got another job, and then they discriminated against me. So They fired me, so I sued them and the Navy and won, but I still needed my house.
House, right.
And so the grace of God, I got a job like 2 days later. My mom was like, I don't know how you do it. I said, God, baby. That's who it was. That's who it was. Yeah, because I tell you, it was so many hurdles right there that just kept coming up, and I just kept fighting back. And that's why I say, when you set your mind to something and you really want something, there is nothing that's going to stop you. You are not going to lose your home to foreclosure because, I can't work right now.
Right.
How many times I had to take leave? There are so many options. And one thing that's great about being a homeowner is that all you gotta do is pick up the phone and call your lender and say, hey, I can't do this right now. They're like, oh, okay, well, you ain't gotta pay your mortgage for this month. We got this program going on. So, I always tell as a housing counselor, when we have people that come in and they're like, I'm facing foreclosure, it's so many options. The lender do not want that house back. I'm going to tell you that now, because they're losing more by putting you out of your home. It is a process. You are not about to lose your house. So it's so many options that are available to you. And again, if fear was a factor, I am a living witness. And as a single mother that is doing it on my own with 3 car notes and a house note, that you can do it. Sontia.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She wants to know how long does it take for a contract to get ratified?
So it's totally up to you. So let's say you got pre-approved and we're shopping for a home. You like the home goes under contract that fast. So this buyer that I spoke to you guys about, Vanessa, she called me sometime in June. The second house I showed her, she wanted it. We put it under contract, and she closed within 30 days.
Okay, so how long does it take for them to let you know that
They accepted this.
It can vary. It can vary. Typically, I like to put in my contract within 5 days. Excuse me. I like to hear something within 5 days because I'm not going to just prolong my client and not get an answer, because my client is my priority. So I need to hear something. So I'm constantly following up with the seller's agent. Can you tell me what's going on? When do you intend to review the contract? And most of the time, they'll say, we're reviewing contracts. Contracts have to be in, let's say today is Saturday, and we see in the house today. They may say contracts have to be in by tomorrow, close of business, and I'll be reviewing on Monday, and I'll make a decision Monday. So it can go relatively fast. Or you can receive an answer the same day, because most of the time I'll call the seller's agent, hey, do you have any contracts in? My client is interested. And they might say, okay, go ahead and submit it. I'll accept it. So I already know right then and there. All they're waiting for is me to submit that contract. I'm an open book. Whatever questions you have.
No, because I know when you were asking the question about the lease, the rent.
Yeah.
That's my thing. My apartment complex, they don't do my home. It's just gone. And I'm just like, so when that happens, how do you say if I find a house and I'm like, I gotta be, I'm selling the lease. So how does
Well, that's the buzz.
because I'm like, okay,
I want to be transparent and honest with you
house.
guys. Yeah, I told them early on. I said I'm looking to become a homeowner, so I'll be moving soon. You have any options for me if I go into contract by this day?
Right.
Can you work with me? And they might, just because you're asking.
Okay.
Even though they may say, oh, well, you're locked in this contract
Right.
for this year. You never know. As long as you talk to people and tell them what your intentions are, because again, you don't want to be 1 month here and 1 month
Right.
But I'm not telling you guys to do that. But if it were me and I was ready to purchase and I'm paying all of this, I'll walk away from that apartment before I walk away from being a homeowner.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That's My process, the underwriting process, can be anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days. Sometimes if you're dealing with HPAP or one of the programs, then it might take you 45 days.
Okay.
So the longest process usually is you finding a house. Some people are just
Okay.
real picky and they go out for months looking at houses. Some people are just avid home viewers. They want to just shop. They'll never make a contract. So I am Sontia Foman. I'm with Mortgage Experts. I've been doing this for a little over 6 years. As I explained to you guys earlier, Mortgage Experts is a brokerage here in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. It's owned by 2 young Black guys, so it's a Black-owned brokerage. In the broker world, in opposed to a regular bank, we have access to 30 or 40 different banks. So it gives us the ability to shop around for your unique situation or circumstance. So no 2 loans that have come on my desk has been the same. So your process may not be the process of your best friend or your mother or whoever. So I get that a lot. Well, my father bought a house and he didn't have to go through this. This is a whole different loan, whole different circumstance. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I'm a mother of 2. This is my full-time job. I only do loans for a living. So I'm passionate about it. I love educating people. I have a YouTube channel. It's sondraspeaks.com. And I try to educate people in this process because it is not easy, but it's doable. And it's not as hard as people make it out to seem. So some things that you have a question?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to make note of how you said this is your only job.
Yeah.
She walked away from her full-time job. She kept saying, no, this is what I love to do. And she just walked away. And I commend you on that. And she's been flourishing even more. So.
Yeah. I jumped in feet first. I had no experience before. I met my mentors. They have combined 30 years of experience. So I go to them anytime I'm going, hey, what do you think? Have you seen this before? They be like, I've seen everything. Let's work it out. So yeah. We keep saying the battery's running low, but I got it plugged in. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to go live on here because it's a lot of people that can't make it to these things, and we can still get them the information this way. So we can go over this. It's in your folder. And I'm gonna be real quick because Sontia covered a lot of stuff. We as a lender and a realtor, we're partners, but our jobs are completely different. Like I have a lane and she has a lane. I don't speak on realtor stuff, just like she was like, I don't want to touch the lender stuff because it's completely black and white. But we have to work together to get you in your house. So, all right. So the benefits of what do you guys have first? Renovation loan?
Yep.
No, you have the 3 C's. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see yours.
What did you get?
I think
You
mine.
didn't get the 3 C's.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I think mine is in the wrong order. So the 3 C's of buying a home: your credit score, capacity, and collateral. And we'll go over all 3. Your credit score and what it means. So I'm not going to read all of this. You guys can read that on your own. So she went over the credit scoring module, why your credit score is so important. We know that's how your bank measures how responsible you are and how if it's likely that you're going to pay them their money back. So that's why it's so important. The 5 factor of credit scoring is payment history, like she said, 35% impact. Outstanding credit balances, 30%. Credit history is the other 15%, and the type of credit is 10%. So a mix of auto loans, credit cards, mortgages is more positive than having a whole bunch of credit cards or just 3-4 cards and nothing else. So that's 10% of your score. So the percentage of the credit score qualifies the number of inquiries, that's major too, made on the consumer's credit report within a 6 months period. Each hard inquiry can cost you from 2 to 25 points on the credit score, but the maximum number of inquiries will reduce the score. Reduce the score is 10. In other words, 11 or more inquiries within a 6-month period will have no further impact on the borrower's credit score. Note that if you run your credit report yourself, it will have no effect on your score. So they're saying if you can go to annualcreditreport.com, and you can get your own credit report from all 3 bureaus, and you can go there and look at exactly what's on your score. But you will not get a score, but you will see your credit reports and exactly what's reported there. And there you can also dispute things and all of that. The do's and don'ts of the loan process. We're gonna go through this real quickly because she went through most of it. Don't apply for new credit of any kind. Went through that. Don't pay off collections or charge-offs. Now, I know Sontia said she don't want you to have any collections, but the way it works is the collections are not counted after 2 years. It's not counted towards your score. It's not counted as far as repayment. Now, if you had a collection within the last 2 years, we have to count 5% of that balance that you owe towards your debt to income ratio. But if it's been on there for over 2 years, don't worry about it. Do not pay off anything without talking to me or Sontia first, because a lot of things really don't have an impact on you as far as the home buying process is. Now you go pay it, it becomes a new account, and it's back up there like you just opened it.
Yeah.
So
And really quick, and that's why it's important to know, even if you're going into having to make those arrangements with your creditor, and the account is in that 2-year time frame that Sandra's speaking of, you're going to make a one-time payment arrangement, not installments, because that is what starts it over. And you're going to tell them what date you're going to pay it. And you're not going to make that payment until they give it to you in writing that they agreed upon that. Okay.
And there are some things that may be on there. If I tell you don't touch it, sometimes the underwriter may come back and say, we need them to pay this off. But just wait until we're instructed to do so. Because once your credit is ran, that is the credit report that they're going to use. Unless that credit report expires or something while we're in it, and then we're going to have to pull a new report. So, and also you're paying, when you see your closing costs, you're going to see credit report on there. They're paying to monitor your score. So they're doing a soft pull in the back end, and they're monitoring it the whole time. But they have to go with the credit report that we submitted them up front. So if they do say you need to pay this off, then it won't affect your score that you have right then and there. Don't close out any credit card accounts. Even if you pay it down to 0, don't close it out, because credit history is a big part of your score. So just keep it, freeze it, put it in the freezer, and just, keep it open. Do not max out or charge existing credit cards. And she went over that. Why? Because of the balance of the 30%.
But you can still, say if, like you said, with the credit card, you still just make payments like you normally do?
Yes.
Okay.
Make payments. Always make your payments. Don't raise red flags to the underwriters. Don't co-sign for another person's loan or change your name or address. The less activity that occurs with your loan is in this process is better for you. Okay. Don't join a credit watch program. Your bank, credit union, or credit card company may be able to provide you with a free credit watch program that can alert you to any changes to your credit report. This can be a safeguard. This is a do. Do join the credit watch program. I was like, why is saying don't as I'm reading? This can be a safeguard to help you intervene before the underwriter sees the problem. Experion is a good one. What's the one I have? I'm gonna think about it and I'm gonna tell y'all. I have Identity IQ. You heard that one. I have that one. That's a great one. So there are all these different programs you can sign up for. It's going to give you your score once a month, and it's going to tell you anytime somebody touch your credit report. Even if you run your credit, it's going to give you an alert 5 minutes later, hey, your credit was ran. So those are great options to have to be able to monitor it.
Are those free?
No, I pay $26 a month for Identity IQ. Experion is free though, but it only monitors Experion. And then you can pay a fee to do the other 2 bureaus. Do stay current on existing accounts. So that's what they pay bills. Do continue to use your credit as you normally would. Still use your credit card because it shows that you're responsible. A lot of people have credit cards and I don't use those. You have to use them. So what I do, I have a travel rewards card. I pay everything on that travel reward so I can get my points. And then before my bill comes, I pay it down. But your usage is also, don't use more than 50% of it, pay it down to 30%. Because once you get off the 50% mark, that's when it starts to ding you too, because now you're using it too much. Yeah. And do call your loan consultant. If you receive notification from a collection agency or a creditor that could potentially have adverse effect on your credit score, call us so we can try to direct you to the right resources to prevent any derogatory reporting to the bureaus. All right, your capacity is how strong you are. While it might be tempting to borrow whatever amount of money your lender is willing to give you, it is important to think carefully about how much you'll actually need to borrow in order to purchase a new home. From the down payment to the taxes to the insurance to the interest rate, there are many factors to consider when making this important life-changing decision. So my first question to you, when I'm pre-approving you, is what type of monthly payment can you afford? Regardless of where I can get you a $500,000 house, but if you can't afford to pay for that, because we're pre-approving you based upon your gross income, not your net. So before they take everything out, can you afford to pay this payment? So let you say I'm only comfortable with paying $1,500 a month. All right, well, spend only up to $250. If you feel like you can handle a little bit more, I can get you to here. But let's stay here so it'll be budget cost friendly for you. So we're gonna go over your assets. The most important part, underwriters like to see assets, savings patterns, 3 to 6 months of savings for down payment and closing costs. Reserves are funds left over from after the transaction. The rule of thumb, 3 to 6 months. Retirement fund, you can use your 401k, your stocks and bonds. You can use a cash value life insurance as assets. All of those look good on your application. Like a lot of people fill out the application and don't want to give me their 401k. And I'm like, no, even if we don't use it, let's put it on your application because it looks great that you have this to fall back on just in case anything happens. So, employer assistance. Everybody call your HR. Do you have any assistance programs for buying a house? Because a lot of companies have it and people don't know about it because they don't ask. So call your HR, always ask. They can say yes or no. That's not gonna hurt. Gift funds. See the it's not attached here, but you can get family and friend assistance, key parties, and not friends. They have to be a family member to give you gift funds. So I'm not sure our friends are in there, but we would get a signed gift letter, the donor's bank statement to see the proof of funds. The donor issued you a check, and then so we need to see that check coming out of the account and depositing it into yours. And we have to have proof of all of that. They cannot give you $10,000 in cash because we have to source that. And there are a lot of donors or people that's giving a gift that don't want us to see their bank account. We have to see where his money is coming from. We got to make sure they're not money laundering any money through you. So we have to see that. Income qualifying. We need to see your tax return with all schedules. Your debt to income ratio, the standard is 31 to 43, but FHA can go up a lot higher than that, but that's safe to keep you. And then when we say 43%, all of your housing expenses shouldn't be more than 43% of your monthly income. So that's where we know you can keep your housing expenses affordable. Okay. Are you a wage earner versus a self-employed earner? So if you do own your own business, you can buy. We just need to be able to source your income properly. So, down payment assistance programs. Pros and cons, not all borrowers like it. We have HPAP, My Home, My Suit, and I don't have any of those no more. I have to update that, but sorry. We have HPAP, Pathway to Purchase, EHAP.
So HPAC is DC, right?
DC, but Pathway to Purchase is PG County. So Pathway to Purchase gives you $15,000 to go to your down payment and closing costs. And if you work for PG County, they give you an extra $5,000. So you can get up to $20,000. And it's similar to HPAP. You have to take an 8-hour class and then you have to apply with them. And then once you're approved, they'll give you a notice of eligibility. You give it to me and I apply that to your loan. So and that's only for PG County. Now, if in this bag, and when you guys can grab it when you're about to leave, I have a list of all of the other in-house down payment assistance programs that we have available at our company. So we have in-house down payment assistance as well. So if you're moving to Maryland, you qualify for any of those programs.
Now, what about,
You want to ask them?
St. Charles
Yeah,
County, Charles
Yeah,
County?
that's not just PG County, is it?
Well, Pathway to Purchase is just PG County, but these
Okay.
programs you can use anywhere.
Okay,
So you can use them in Virginia, Maryland, wherever.
okay.
But these, most of them only cover your down payment, not any closing costs. Whereas Pathway to Purchase, they giving you the full 15 or 20,000. And then you can put it wherever you want to. So yeah, you can go over that when you grab your bag. Collateral is the property itself. Of course, that's what they're lending this money against. If anything happens, you default on your loan, they're taking that house from you. So that's your collateral. So you want to look at the condition of the house, the value of the house. You want to have an appraisal. You want to do a home inspection and a termite inspection. A termite inspection is not required for most of our loans, but I suggest that you get it done. The home inspector can do both of them at the same time. So that's very important, so you'll know the condition of your house. All right, the programs, and these are just FHA conventional.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, the appraisal, who, you pay that? You pay? for
Yes,
that
we
yourself?
will order the appraisal. No, I don't, you guys pay for it.
That's
Okay.
our
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah, the appraisal can be, it used to be 580, but now it's like 600 or up.
So that's all done before closing?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll pay for your home inspection and then you'll pay for your appraisal. And it's usually done around the same time. So the appraisal is an opinion of a person who is specialized and certified in doing appraisals. They're gonna walk through your house, they're gonna measure it, they're going to look at the conditions, they're gonna look at the appliances, what shape everything is in, and then they're gonna give you a value for your home. But they're also gonna compare houses like yours, same size, same shape, same upgrades, and they're gonna say, okay, this house is worth $550. Her house is exactly like this, so I'm gonna value it at $550. So that's kind of how the appraisal
So if
works.
suppose it's undervalued, what you paying for it?
The lender will only lend a percentage of what it appraises for.
Okay.
So if you bid 300,000 and it only appraised for 250, that's when you'll go back to your realtor and she'll negotiate changing that cost.
Okay.
If they won't budge on that, then you have to pay the difference because the
Or
lender,
you can get out of that.
or you can get out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
We get your earnest money.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Some people want the house so bad they'll
It just-
pay. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a case where it didn't work out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so the lender will, so for FHA loan, for example, the lender is only going to lend you 96.5% of what it appraises for, not what you offer.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, so y'all let me know if I'm going too fast. I'm
No,
just trying to.
you're not going too fast. You don't go on.
So FHA is from HUD, right? So it's insured by HUD and you're gonna pay mortgage insurance on that.
That's worldwide.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. So that mortgage insurance, you're gonna pay it every month for the life that you have the loan. So, and that's just in case, and that protects the lender. Just in case you default, FHA will take care of how much the lender paid you. So, FHA was brought about because back then you had to put down 20%. And FHA was like, wait, regular people can't buy houses. So they brought in this program. We're going to insure this loan for you to make the home buying more affordable. They go down to 500 score, but 500 you got to put down 20%. But 580 or higher, you can put down 3.5%. So, and 500, we're gonna talk about that. we don't want to be at 500, but they do go down to that. Conventional is through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. These companies, Ginnie Mae, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, I'm sure y'all heard their names before. They are GSEs, government-sponsored entities. They are sponsored by the government, but they are not regulated by the government. So they can lend you money and not have to go by FHA guidelines. So sometimes their products will be a lot simpler as far as the underwriting guidelines. So some people like those. Now with conventional, you have to do private mortgage insurance. If you're putting down less than 20%, you have to pay private mortgage insurance to an insurance company, and that ensures the lender will get paid if you default.
Is that better or better than FHA?
The only difference is private mortgage insurance goes away once you pay your balance under 20%. It just drops off by itself. Whereas FHA, as long as you keep that home, you're gonna pay mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the only difference. They're both the same. Depending on your credit score, conventional, their private mortgage insurance may be a little bit cheaper than FHA, so.
Okay, so has the conventional, loans changed over the years, or can you put less than 20% down on a conventional loan?
Yes, Fannie and Freddie has started their program. Fannie is Home Possible, Fannie's Home Ready, Freddie is Home Possible. So they allow you to put down 3%. So it's a little less than FHA. But their minimum credit score is 620, whereas FHA is 680. I have yet to see anybody get approved for a conventional loan at a 620 score. It's just a lot harder to qualify for. So I'll say the magic number is about 680, especially right now with the interest rates where they are. If you even get approved for a 620 credit score, at a 620 credit score, your interest rate gonna be ridiculous.
Through conventional?
Yeah, through conventional. So sometimes when you're shopping, the listing agents will look at your offer and be like, oh, she got a conventional loan, she better borrow. That doesn't, they think that because it's harder to get, they think you're a more responsible borrower, but that doesn't make sense right now in this market. Because I may run you may have a 720 credit score, but when I price them between FHA and conventional may have a way higher monthly payment. So it doesn't make sense for you to go conventional, even though you can and it looks better. FHA is the better mortgage for you. So it just, again, every loan is different. So those are the things we look at when we're looking at your application. Yeah. You had another question?
No, that's
Okay.
a very good answer, FHA versus conventional.
Yeah.
I think I know FHA is probably the better way to go.
Yeah.
Because of the mortgage, when you're looking at your mortgage, it's gonna be cheaper.
I was going to say something, on these people's end. I'll tell you later. So USDA is for rural housing.
Right.
So when you look for houses, you can go to USDA.gov and they have a map of where all of their rural areas are. And then when Sontia is sending you listings, those listings will say whether it's USDA, if it's approved for USDA or it's in the USDA area. So you get 100% financing for USDA, but you have to buy in those areas. So
there's no money down, right?
There's no money down, yeah. So
for closing or anything?
Well, you do have to pay closing, but they don't charge you a down payment, and it's insured by USDA.
Oh, okay. Now, how has that program been working out over the years?
USDA?
Yeah. People having any problems with those?
No, I like USDA.
From the lender standpoint, it's a lot harder to get you approved for USDA. I've had one lady, because they count the income in your whole household. And even if that person's not going on the loan, so let's say you got an 18-year-old son that's working, they need to count that income. So, and they have a cap on how much you can make. Like I had a young lady that was approved everything for USDA. It came up that she was getting child support. She was only getting $25 a week. That $25 a week pushed her over, and she no longer qualified.
So what's the cap?
That child support so fast.
Okay, she did. She tried, and this was during COVID though. So the judge wasn't in there. They wouldn't give her. It didn't work out. She had to flip over to FHA.
So you have any idea what the cap is?
It's on there. I think it's on their website. I'll get it to you. Yeah, but it's like 80% of the area median income, so it's different by county. So in Maryland, you definitely got to look at your county to see what it is.
Does it also tell you the population?
Yeah, it'll have all of that on there. Yeah. Yeah. VA is for veterans. So if you are a veteran or your husband is a veteran or your spouse is a veteran, you guys can use that. 100% financing. Now, those are loans I love to do. VA are great loans.
Can I ask you a question about the VA? I'm asking because I'm a veteran. Is it true that if you have, I'm just asking because I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, But is it true if you have student debt, they won't give you a home loan?
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
No.
Okay.
It's gonna, your student debt is going to count in your debt to income ratio. We have to charge 0.5% of your whole balance. So, and that could push you over your debt to income ratio.
And so in that instance, what you should do is apply for the student loan forgiveness that they have going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if that doesn't work, do an income-driven repayment loan.
Yes. Yep, we can use that letter, whatever it is. That was going in next. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you be quiet about this.
No, you're fine. Hard money lending. Hard money is for investors. If you or anybody you know that wants to buy some investment properties, you want to flip them and sell them, or you want to keep them as a rental income, I have options for you too. I also do commercial loans. I do church loans. I do all of those things. So if you have a business, you want to buy a property for your business, I can help you with financing for that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the end of this. The renovation mortgage loan, and you probably have this, but we're not going to go too deep into that. That is just that if you want to buy a house that needs some work, you can finance the money that you're going to pay for that work into your loan. Just one closing. So if you see a fixer-upper, like for me, look how tall I am. I really want a fixer-upper because I want high countertops and all that stuff, you know? So I want to do a 203K loan when I buy. And I was trying to buy, when we was in the midst of COVID, it was a mess. So I just went on and had to extend my lease for another year. But yeah, so it's, the way it works is you find the house and then you get a contractor to walk through it. He's going to give you a scope of work, everything that needs to be done or that you want done. You can do anything cosmetic. You can get your appliances, all of that stuff. Only thing you cannot do is structural work. Like you can't knock down this wall or you can't add another room to the house or anything like that with 401k. But all the gutting the whole floors and the kitchen, you can put all of that in the 203k loan. And then once your contractor gives us the bid, we add that to your loan amount. And then if you're still within your debt to income ratio, we can do that. You close your loan and then your contractor starts to work. He does it in phases. Once he's done his first phase, we pay him. Do the second phase, we pay him. Do the third phase, we pay him. It's better that way because the bank is overseeing all of that. If he say he done with the bathroom and it ain't right, the bank is sending somebody out there to look at that bathroom to make sure it's done right and it's done responsibly, it's safe, and then they're going to approve them for the next phase.
Okay.
So it's a great program to have.
So does that cause your interest rate to be higher?
Sometimes, yeah. The program does have a little slightly higher interest rate. But for example, if you don't get it, you might get a 6.25 interest rate. If you do get it, it might be 6.5. So it's not really a huge hit to your pricing. Yeah. So that's it for me. The process usually.
Oh, I have one more question.
Okay.
I like
this.
I probably should be asking.
We get excited.
I probably should be asking the realtor this, but I think both of you all probably answer this question. What about having a house built?
You can do new construction. So
Is that difficult or?
we have, and it's in this packet.
Okay.
I'm glad you said I put the flyer in the packet. It's called a one-time close loan. It allows you to find the lot, buy the lot, and finance and build all in one loan.
Oh, that's good.
But you can also go to a builder, and then.
I need that one for myself.
Oh,
Do they
good.
have assistance with finding a lot?
Your realtor will help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it cheaper to go that route sometimes? Oh, but
Your realtor.
Okay, we sorry.
I done ate my chips. I got lazy. It's dark. It's still sitting over there. It's dark.
Yeah,
I
it's warming up in here.
But that was the question.
Oh, about getting our own bid.
I would
cheaper.
Sometimes the better route to go than just.
I would say it's the same.
Okay.
And I would say this, I like older homes. My inspector inspected a newly built home, turned the water on. It was like a waterfall throughout the whole house. So.
Always, even if you do a new build, get home
Yes, you
inspection.
have to get
Even
the
if it's
home
brand new.
inspection. I would
Yeah.
never recommend you.
Oh, that's bad.
I would never recommend you not
to get a home inspection and not to do the re-inspection.
Okay.
That's, for me, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's your
Okay.
choice, but don't
Of
ever
course,
let
it is.
someone, yeah, and then, you know, you'll have, friends and family say, oh, John can do this, and John ain't certified.
Right,
And so,
right.
you know, you move in your house and then you have all these things going on.
Definitely don't want to be putting them.
Yeah, so if you see something that's older, but you wanna renovate it, do a 2 or 3K loan.
Yeah, you can combine that with your.
That's probably, with the recession and inflation, I'm hearing that building is costing more. The wood costing more, supplies are costing more.
Well, yeah,
So
Okay.
right now, it probably isn't better.
Okay.
Yeah, but once all of this is over, it'll be just about the same.
Okay, so, this is for you, Sontia. So we missed one step, I think. Maybe I didn't hear it. What is paid at closing?
So
You
that,
go to closing, what are you paying at closing?
and that was in Sontia's slide.
It
You're
was?
paying attorney fees, title fees.
Oh,
that was the
yeah,
fees.
all
I
that
said I didn't
stuff.
wanna go through, because I didn't wanna scare you guys,
Right.
but, but there are all these fees that are combined in closing
Yes.
costs. Your credit report is in there, your appraisal may or may not be in there. What else? It's maybe like 10 or 15 things that are in your closing
Yeah.
costs.
Do you get a spreadsheet before you get to closing? So you
So
know
you'll get your
exactly?
closing disclosure.
Okay,
You
and
get
that
a
will
loan
tell you
estimate.
exactly what you need to bring to closing.
Absolutely.
When we start, we'll give you a loan estimate, and then at the end, you'll get a closing disclosure. That's more accurate. When you
Yeah.
start, the number might say 25,000. You're like, what the? But after everything is settled, all the fees are in, title company and the bank sit down together and be like, okay, this isn't right, this is not, let's change this,
Yeah.
this is cheaper. And then your closing disclosure comes out, and that's your final number.
Okay, so most of the time, the title company, your loan officer can supply your title company, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Now, our fees, the only thing you pay up front with us is for the credit report and the appraisal. Everything else is paid at closing,
Okay,
and of
now,
course, your home inspection.
okay, now what about the insurance?
The insurance,
House insurance?
it's,
So
Insurance company
No,
or-
you're asking all the right
Right,
questions.
you
You
are.
seem so ready.
yeah, I love it, I love it.
So you would get your homeowner's insurance through your car insurance, if you have a car insurance. Why? Because you're bundling, and it's gonna make it cheaper. If not, then we'll recommend some companies that have reasonable rates.
But it's included in your mortgage?
Yes.
Yes,
It's
okay.
escrow.
Yep.
So what an escrow account is, at closing, they're gonna collect a full year and pay your insurance for the whole year. They're gonna collect a full year of your taxes, pay that off for the whole year. Every month, they're gonna factor in your monthly payment. They're gonna take that and put it in the escrow account. So when it's due again, the escrow company gonna take that and pay it off for the next year. So that's how it works there.
Yeah, that's John.
Yeah. So they're gonna collect, that's
Are
part
you
of the
guys
closing
buying
cost.
together?
No, I've been through the housing process at least, what was it, maybe 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I was doing a 203K loan, and I
Okay.
backed out because I just felt it was too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never went back to try to get a house again.
Okay.
And I eventually got sick, you know, with lupus.
Okay.
And I had to go on disability. So
Okay.
now my housing chances are really slim. So I try to convince my daughter to do it early because I just kept putting it off after that first time and never
Okay.
went back. So now it's very slim for me because I'm on disability. But I haven't given up.
Well, all income is considered.
Yes.
You cannot be discriminated against based off of your income, but your
Yeah.
income does have to supply the loan. You have to be able
Yeah.
to afford a loan.
Yes.
So that's the gray area. And so for people who are disabled, you may say, okay, let me work part-time in order to add the extra income. in
Oh,
order
no,
to
I ain't
be-
never worked.
Okay.
But it's all right. I do plan on, I do plan on getting home. You know, I worked 38 years of my life. I'm not working no more.
Okay,
I just finished renovating the house that I own in South Carolina.
okay,
So, you know, that took some of my money that I had saved, but I'm building it back up very fast.
okay.
Even with my disability,
Yeah.
retirement disability, it's building up kind of fast. It's just
Okay.
gonna take long because I put, you know, a lot out there, but it had to be done. So now that property is being rented.
Okay, good. You can use your rental income.
Yeah,
too. You
yeah.
just have to make
That's
sure you're
income.
reporting on your
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
So that's income, yeah. Yeah.
But she's out there and she's trying to get it together.
Okay, so you ready? Ready to start the process? Okay. All right, well, we're here to help you guys. I know you guys didn't get a chance to fill this out.
Oh, no.
And let me get you guys, little papers so that I can see who won.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I did with mine.
Really?
I know what this, oh, here you go.
I was about to say we gotta get your number. Let me get it.
Do we need to put our names on or?
No, you know your number?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, baby, number one.
All right.
Number one what?
You're number one.
Okay. We just remember our numbers, huh?
Yep.